Hey guys, hope you're all doing well. This is the Smart AI box from Onecarstereo, which we reviewed in a previous video. A really small, really capable box, which is fantastic if you want to stream video services to this screen here, such as Netflix, Disney Plus maybe, or YouTube. Really small box, so it's not incredibly powerful. And in terms of the features, it is relatively limited. It effectively uses the Android operating system, in this case Android 11, to give you access to those applications and features which are available from the relevant app stores. But a really good little box and very handy to use if you're on a long journey. Now, of course, it is illegal in many places to stream TV whilst you're watching, but if you are allowed to do so, or for passenger use, it is really very good indeed. But there is a new one that they've sent through. It is the Onecarstereo Smart AI Box Ultra, and here it is. And if you've got a Taycan, interestingly, it fits perfectly in there and looks pretty cool. This lights up as well, which you'll see in a bit, but of course you can't get anything plugged into it whilst it's sat in there, so not really relevant. But here it is, and it is more capable and more powerful than the previous box. This one runs Android 13, and in the box you get the instruction manual. You have, of course, this here, the box. You get a USB pass-through lead, a USB-A to USB-C, and a USB-C to USB-C lead. Also, you have a pin to access this here, which will allow you to insert a 4G data SIM card so that you can use services directly connected to the internet on this. It will also, of course, connect to any wireless network that it can see, be that an actual SSID somewhere or your phone acting as a tether hotspot, which is what a lot of folk do with this. Now, one thing I do really like about this is above the SIM tray here, you have this slot here for, of course, a micro SD card, and it is really easy to get the SD card in and out of the slot there. Sometimes these go in way too far and you need a pin to get them out, or of course have very long nails, which I don't. But they've thought about that, and it is a really nice little option there. Of course, you can load this up with all of the movies that you want before you set off on your journey. Let's say you're going camping or something, or somewhere where you're going to be sat around for a long time. Want access to a good screen to watch it. It's powerful, 8 gig and 128 gig. Also, it will power a 12-inch screen, so it's got a lot more grunt than the previous box. Also, it is passively cooled here by these holes in the bottom. Effectively, it should be very straightforward. It connects to your CarPlay, so it is an Android box simulating an Apple phone, so it provides compatibility to anything that has wired or now wireless CarPlay, which is great. So it can wirelessly connect to your CarPlay. There are some OEM brands that do not work. Do check the manufacturer's website on this. Of course, all the links will be in the description with the referral link too that you can leverage for a bit more money off. Let's see how this goes. We're going to fire it up. It sits in here very nicely, so in the center console it will just sit in there and connect via USB-C to one of these ports here. So we're going to fire it up and see how we get on. So it has recognized it straight away, and here it is. It has recalibrated the screen, rebooted very quickly, fired itself up, and now we have access to the system. Now, one great thing about this box is it does have GPS built in. The previous box doesn't have GPS. This one does have GPS built in, so it should know where it is and what's going on. And already this screen here is much cooler than the previous system. It looks much more capable, much more like an Android operating system. And I can't believe how easy and quick that was in terms of connecting to the device and getting itself fired up on this screen. So well done, box. Now, we're not connected to any Wi-Fi at the moment. I have a 2.4 IoT network, so I'm going to connect it to that. And of course, yes, this looks like a very familiar Android settings location. So we're going to connect to a network here, and I'm going to enter the password, and we'll come back. And of course, to get back to your home screen, whenever you're in one of the menus, if you click this here, this little icon, it'll give you the home option there, and that brings back the home screen. So I'm going to allow that to send me notifications. I can sign in to my Google account here. It is basically a fully fledged phone, if you like, but on a different screen. The Android 13 system brings with it everything that you'd expect from a phone. So if you look down the bottom here, we've got all the streaming apps built in as standard, but you can also download anything you want from the Google Play Store. So that is really cool. I think you could probably even play games on here if you wanted, although that's something that you might want to try yourself. So let's get back to the home screen again. I like that that menu pops up whenever you press the button. Easy access in terms of navigating around. So what we're going to do now is fire up a video and see if we can get that watched. And of course, we're going to do that on the wonderful Netflix. And of course, that is working wonderfully as expected. So that test has passed with flying colours, just as good as the old box. Very easy to use, navigate around and fire up. So well done there. One thing that is very good about this is just how snappy everything is. You can really just shove things around on the screen, and it's just like using a mobile phone, and effectively it should be. It's using a Qualcomm processor. So everything you do is really very snappy and very, very responsive indeed. You can obviously install APKs there, which is of course unsigned Android apps. Interestingly, when you go back to the home screen there, you'll notice that this has just gone down into a window mode there, so we can re-access it should we need to. And of course, the great thing we mentioned about this box is that it does have GPS. So if you click here, you'll find that I have a fix on my location and connection to satellites, which is great for navigation should you choose to do it via this box. And we have a web browser here. Let's just see how this goes. Firing up the BBC homepage, and as you can see, loads instantly. And we can have a good browse of all of the news, or have the passenger have a browse of all the news they want to whilst traveling along on a pretty decent screen. Now, unfortunately, you still can't get CarPlay on these screens here in the Taycan, which is a shortcoming not necessarily of the box, but unfortunately of the way the PCM system is. You can only see that error there. You can only link to Apple CarPlay via the central display. It would be fantastic if these displays worked. That's a PCM issue though, not necessarily a smart AI box issue, unfortunately. So looking at the built-in apps, or the apps that it comes with as standard, you'll find the selection is much broader than the previous box that we reviewed. And this is because it has more memory, and of course it has the built-in GPS. So you'll find a lot of really good standard apps here. And you'll see that we have Waze as well, and TikTok, which I won't be going anywhere near because I'm just not cool enough. But of course, do not forget you can install any app you want via the App Store once you're signed in. So really, really capable, really versatile box as well. And one of the other features that it has that I would just like to try here quickly is the split screen feature. So if I fire up that, and then I simply go back to the home screen, and then open up another app. Let's just say this wonderful app, which is the YouTube music streaming app. I'll just click on device files only here. We click on this again, and then this option here is for split screen. So the app that I want to split screen with, that's my GPS location, is this one. And you'll find I have here my YouTube music on the left, and also my web browser on the right. Now, I'm not sure you can do this with Netflix, i.e. a video, because it needs to be a certain resolution, but what we'll do is try that. So if I go back to get my screen there, and then we'll try firing up Netflix, and then if we go here again, and then try split screen, it won't allow me to specify Netflix as a split screen. It can it can only be full screen for Netflix, which is kind of understandable. You probably wouldn't want to be watching it on a small postage stamp size there, so that's something just to bear in mind for the split screen function. But very cool, because that function isn't available on the previous box. So you could have your navigation maybe one side and a web browser the other, working quite nicely. So it is a really capable box. We've only just scratched the surface here, but it effectively is a fully fledged Android tablet. A really good, fully fledged Android tablet, which will of course get upgraded with new software and new features as time goes on. But really pleased with this, and very appreciative of the guys at Onecarstereo to send this one through as an upgrade. And you'll just see how snappy everything is when navigating around. It's really very quick indeed, which for me is great. And of course the Wi-Fi connection that we have at the moment is working very nicely indeed. So a wonderful box, and highly recommended should you want a bit more capability than the standard box has to offer. We're going to wrap things up now for this. Really do appreciate you watching. All the links will be in the description. That's it for this one. Stay safe, stay well. See you in the next one, and bye for now.